who are fighting in this crazy old world. Need strategies, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Every time I listen, Lauren and David share strategies for living, and it makes me aware. I've got strategies for living, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio.
Oh, you know we need them. Yeah, we need those strategies, don't we? Those strategies for living. So are you ready? You ready for your daily dose of radio rehab?
I'm pretty sure.
You pretty sure?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, folks, welcome.
Ready or not?
Ready or not, here it is. Welcome into another edition of Strategies for Living. I'm Dr. David McMillian. She is psychotherapist, PLPC, Lauren Leon McMillian. You know, you have been, you're responsible for this program today. I don't know whether you know this or not.
I am.
Yeah, you've been feeding me grits in the morning. Yeah.
Well, yes.
Yeah, I mean, just
true.
all of a sudden, you know, to my normal breakfast, you asked me one day, would you like grits?
Yeah.
And I love grits.
Right.
You know?
So I started making them.
And so you started making
I
grits.
insisted that we weren't going to use your
you
grits,
you won't go for the instant grits.
which one day we ran out of the real thing, and you recognized.
I did
think,
recognize. There's no
how much
question.
better
Oh, Lord have
the
mercy.
true grits are.
Yeah, well, there you go. And that true grit is exactly what we're going to talk
I think
about
there's
today.
a movie about that.
Not the movie,
Okay.
no, but the art of gritty.
Mm-hmm.
The art, you know, is there such a thing as naturally gritty people?
Mm.
And I think that there are.
Yeah. Sure.
And I think there is such a thing as naturally gritty people.
Well, and we can learn from those who perhaps exude those natural gritty behaviors, and we can become gritty ourselves, should that be something we aspire to do.
Okay, so that's we've got a program for today. We're going to talk about some habits of naturally gritty people, if you will.
Okay.
We're just going to get into the grits today. Yeah. Are we showing our southern side?
Well, that's
Maybe.
another acronym, right?
Yeah.
Girls raised in the South.
Oh, there you
Grits.
go. Okay. All right. Hey, folks, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you being with us. And we appreciate our sponsors who make it all possible. The Robinson Film Center, Azalea Cleaners, Pintail Roofing, Learning RX, the Balanced Life Wellness Center, Fertitta's Delicatessen, home of The Godfather, Alligator Italian Sausage, pretty good Muffies too, Uprising, Addiction Center, and Mira, Direct Primary Care. The art of real grit. We're going to talk about some simple habits today of naturally gritty people. Whether you like grits or not, come back and join us.
Tune in daily, find the light. Healthy mind and spirits bright. Strategies for living strong. Feel the vibe, it won't go wrong. Body moves and soul aligned. Catch the rhythm, feel the time. Radio rehab every day. Chase those clouds of gray away. Your daily dose of radio rehab. Lift you up when skies seem trapped. Mind and body, spirits free. Living life in harmony.
And welcome into Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillian, David McMillian. Going to talk about grit today. And not the grits that I ate this morning for breakfast, but real grit. What does that look like? Let me give credit where credit is due to Your Tango at yourtango.com. This was an article that I found written, and it struck a chord, especially this time of year. It's written by Heather Mulder, and back in the end of November at yourtango.com. But, naturally gritty people learn how to, you kind of alluded to this in the opening, Lauren. Naturally gritty people learn how to deal with setbacks, whether those are emotional setbacks or are just difficulties in life or traumatic experiences, and they learn to deal with them in a way that helps them to spring back and recover more quickly.
Yeah, so before we get too far into this, I'm one of those people, I like to, let's set a foundation, let's kind of set some definitions. Like, because grit, when you think of that, it brings to mind, I think, culturally, grit brings to mind this tough old cowboy kind of.
Like the John Wayne type.
Yeah, like the True Grit film. And so
that could be a part. That could be a part of it.
But I want to basically reframe that and wrap that for us. Like, what are we talking about when we say grit?
Well, I think we just aimed at it a bit because life is difficult.
Right.
I mean, that's just a truth. That's a great truth. And it's just, it's difficult for everybody. I mean, we point at other people in our lives and we say, oh, geez, I wish my life could be like him or her. And yet when you talk to him or her, their life is just as difficult. They may be saying, I want my life to be like them.
So you're really aiming at the true, actual, where it comes from kind of etymology definition of grit, right? When we look at the word grit, it comes from to grind.
Yeah.
Right. So like you think of grains of sand or grittiness, right?
Yeah.
And so what you're saying is that life can grind us down, right?
It can, yeah.
But I also want to reframe that as recognizing that we are the grits, right? We are the pieces. And we can see if we're a pile of grits, perhaps, like in the sense of sand, right?
Yeah.
We're all pieces of the sand. What you're talking about right now is comparing yourself. Well, they're no better than I am.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're all these bits of sand. We're all these grits that have been ground down, right?
Yeah.
By life and by experiences, right? But we also can recognize, wow, I'm a piece of this beach or whatever the whole is, right? As a grit of life.
I'm reminded of a story that Scott Peck, who wrote The Road Less Traveled and did lots and lots of lecturing after that, wrote many other books, but his big book was The Road Less Traveled. And he told a story, and I forget where, maybe in listening to one of his lectures, I picked this story up, but he told a story and he related grit to grace. And he told a story in one of his presentations. He said this northern fella came down south and ordered breakfast, and the breakfast was still put in front of him, and there was this blob of white stuff,
right?
Next to his bacon and eggs and toast, and he said, I didn't order this. And the waitress said, well, those are grits, sir. And she said, you don't order them. They just come. And so, you can imagine somebody who hasn't grown up in the South and is incredulous about what is this blob of white stuff among my bacon, my nice bacon and eggs. And we don't think anything of it in the South. We know, of course, we want our... If they don't give me my grits, I want them, you know?
Yeah, where are they?
Why don't they come? But, the point that Peck was making is that, it's like grace. Grit is like grace. It comes.
Yeah.
And so, maybe we could put another word to it. The word might be mindset. And if we put the word mindset to it, that can be adapted by anyone.
Right.
Each one of us could adapt a mindset of grittiness.
Right. Because it's not about like white knuckling pain,
No.
right? It's about that resilience factor, that being able to bounce back, faster and with more wisdom, right?
I think any
with
of
grace.
us, absolutely. I think any of us can relate to having periods of our lives, long or short, where we had self-doubt or maybe inner demons eating away at us from the inside. We're feeling unworthy and, we're miserable. And what needs to happen there? We need to recognize, rethink it, that we have choices. I can stay miserable if I want to, or I can accept the grace of grit.
Right.
I can drop
grit comes.
Grit comes. Yeah, grits just come. And you can discover that you can make some mental shifts, some emotional shifts, and you can develop an emotionally strong mindset if you decide that that's what you want to do. Yeah. And that's what gritty people do. That's the art of it, Lauren.
And one more thing, because you kind of brought up this idea of toughness and endurance, but you brought it up in the sense of mindset, which I think is what true grit is. But I think a lot of people confuse that toughness, that endurance of the mind with, well, I've got to be that physically, right? Or that it's got to be, you've got to just go through it,
and that's not true.
And that's not at all. Because I think
true.
True grit actually includes the ability to recognize, I need some rest.
Right.
Or I need some help
recognize
here.
your own vulnerabilities,
right.
your own physicalness, if you will.
Right. Yeah.
And to respect that and to honor that and to deal with that in a healthy way.
Right.
So that leads to maybe the first thing that we want to talk about in terms of what are the habits, if you will. Well, one of the habits is understanding yourself on a very deep level, right?
Yeah.
So understanding who you are is absolutely the foundation of developing grit.
Well, because if you don't know who you are and how you are naturally inclined or programmed to respond to the grits that will come, right?
Yep.
There's no way for you to understand or be able to manage your response to the grits that will come.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So, it's an important question. It's one of the big questions that I think all major religions attempt to answer. Who am I? Right. What am I doing here? Where am I going after this? But it's an important question, and I think it's a question, and that I worry that enough of us are not engaging anymore.
Right.
Absolutely. Traditional religious practices. All of the statisticians tell us that people aren't going to church as much as they were. Maybe that's not the case as much around these parts, but all over the world. Even
beyond that, as we've talked about, I mean, no disrespect to any particular religion or religions in general, but they can only bring you so far.
Sure.
It's about being able to do this deep diving into self to really understand to really connect with that anchor. And, we don't have to look, I don't think, too far into the world and to our culture to see the stark disconnect that we have and the amount of ways that we just give over our power to other people. And, that's something that's concerning to me. And I think this deciding to engage on a journey of, okay, I'm going to understand who and what I am and what my connection or relationship with self and others and nature and the world and the universe is.
Yeah.
I mean, once you begin that journey, you can really begin to place some firmer roots into who you are and what you want to develop.
If you think about it, those are really core needs. I mean, core needs, sometimes we think about them in terms of physical needs are material wealth or something like this. But these kinds of needs are internal needs that you to have a life of meaning, that you're not going to be content until you ask that question, what are my core needs? They're things like your values,
what lights me up? What is in alignment with who I am and who I want to be?
What do you consider your purpose in life? What drives you?
And you mentioned these core needs, and I think we often mistake when these core needs are not met. They can show up as irritation or overreaction or burnout, and things that we misplace as, well, let's just stick a pill or something on it, when a lot of times it calls for this deep journey into self, these asking of these questions.
Absolutely. And so many times, we take the easy way out, that reaching for the pill, reaching for that quick solution, when
and it's just a Band-Aid, and it doesn't get to, those irritations will resurface.
Absolutely. We're talking about the art of real grit today. Habits of naturally gritty people. Talking about it today here on Strategies. More to come. We'll be right back.
Facing the same old problems day to day makes you wanna holler, get away. Looking for the road that'll get me there. Looking for hope and peace to spare. Looking for strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio.
And welcome back into Strategies for Living Radio. Lauren Leon McMillian, David McMillian, talking today about the art of real grit. What are some habits of naturally gritty people? So we began by talking about the gritty people understand themselves on a very deep level. They're willing to do the deep dive, if you will,
and that doesn't
to
mean,
get to know themselves.
Yeah, when you say they understand themselves deeply, that doesn't mean it's I don't want it to be, there's a destination there, right? Because
no, it's an ongoing process.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing process.
So,
it's not a one and done. It's not, I think that's the point you were making at the end of last segment. Yeah, it's too easy we want to reach for the pill bottle for the quick solution, but the deal is that's not going to get you where we're talking about going today, and develop the grit that will serve you so well in life. Another habit to develop is accepting yourself. People with grit accept themselves for who they are, warts and all of it. So again, clarity around who you are. What I think we have to do is we have to practice self-acceptance and self-love. Yeah, it's important to understand it, but that's not enough.
No.
Understanding is a mind thing, right?
Yes.
But we need to connect this with a heart thing and a leg thing, a doing thing.
Right.
It's important to get the Trinity going, the mind, the heart, and the action, the legs, right?
Yeah, another way I like to talk about it with clients is, when you need help, you call AAA. Right?
Yeah.
And so the 3 A's are you're aware, right? So first you can recognize, okay, here's where I understand this about myself, right?
Right.
The second A is very important, and it's acceptance. Because until we accept, okay, yeah, this is something that I'm doing and it's okay, and I can kind of understand where it came from, until we can move through that, we can't get to the third A, which is action, which is then being able to choose a different thought or behavior.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, we this self-acceptance thing and self-love thing, it may be something that you've got to be willing to, to practice.
Yes, big time. And I think a lot of people have scared themselves into thinking a couple of different things about self-love or acceptance, right? One is that, I'll be self-centered, right? And I would argue that the opposite of true is true. Until you acknowledge, accept, and love yourself, you actually will have some form of self-centered behavior.
Yeah.
Because self-centered behavior is actually seeking validation from the outside, right?
Yeah. Instead of knowing from the inside
right.
that you are worthy.
And I guarantee when you begin to understand yourself and go on this journey of understanding who you are, what you are, and where your place is in the world, it will naturally fall into place that you will see yourself as a collective or within a community.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And so when you do that, those behaviors of self-centeredness fall away naturally.
Yep.
And I think this is what, Jesus perhaps was offering us when he said, the idea that you will love your neighbor as you love yourself. It wasn't a command or a demand that you need to love your neighbor as you love yourself, but rather, I think it was a great truth.
Yep.
That you will love your neighbor as
you love yourself. Right.
Because you can only love others or meet others as deeply as you have
as you do yourself, as you meet yourself. Studies prove and show that increased self-acceptance is a protective barrier against any kind of mental health challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And particularly, this is true, the earlier we start this, the better. Adolescents who show higher self-acceptance exhibit greater resilience.
Yeah.
And man, don't we want that?
Yeah.
Don't we want that in our kids?
If you find yourself in any way offended or put off or angered or irritated, fill in the blank by something someone else says to you, that means on some level you have accepted what they said to you.
Yeah.
Right? Because if someone were to say to me, I hate your blue hair, I'm not going to get angry because I know and accept that that's just not true. I don't have blue hair. You don't have blue hair.
Yeah.
And so it's the same for every other nuanced of comment we might get.
Yeah.
And so if we find ourselves triggered in whatever way, shape, or form, that's an invitation to investigate. Okay, which part of myself accepts this is true, and is that good for me? Is that something I want to continue to accept?
Well, I think you're touching on an important point here, Lauren, because a very important point with grit is the willingness to look and own up to who you are. It doesn't mean that you said it a few minutes ago. We're works in progress,
yes,
right? We're developing. We're not done, and we're not gonna be done throughout life. Even if we live into our 90th year or 100th year, we're still learning, we're still growing, we're still developing.
But one of my favorite quotes around that, I think it's Marilyn Monroe, but I could be wrong. Anyway, it's the idea that we're allowed to be works in progresses and a masterpiece at the same time.
Yeah.
We're allowed to be both.
It doesn't have to be either or.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Another thing that gritty people do is they embrace the unpredictability of life. So life is unpredictable. People are unpredictable.
Yep.
Man, don't we see that around? Didn't we see that in 2025? And aren't we seeing that at the beginning of this year?
It will continue.
And it will continue.
For all of history, right?
None of us can control everything that happens to us. And so, the quicker we accept this, and even go beyond accepting it, embracing it, the quicker we embrace it, the more gritty we can become, because this unpredictability is what makes life interesting. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
it's about if you are building upon the framework that we've kind of already touched on, the idea of I'm dedicated to understanding myself better. I'm dedicated to, as I understand myself, I'm going to accept what I find and accept responsibility to that I can change that if that's something I want, or align myself in a way that's more in alignment with what I've come to find out about myself.
yeah.
If we're doing that, then we become rooted and understand that, okay, no matter what happens on outside, apparently outside of me, beyond me, I know that I'm rooted in who I am and in my values and in where and what I kind of want to create in the world. I have some sense of stability, even in the midst of the tides of life.
Right.
Right.
Even in the tide's instability.
Yeah.
And that's, it's just a given.
And then even further, if you can develop some relationship with whatever it is beyond yourself that connects the rest of us, whether you call that God, whether you call that source, whether you call that
Spirit,
energy,
whatever you
call that matrix that connects us all, when you develop a relationship and trust in that, I mean, I'm going to go back to the idea of grit as sand on the beach, right? And if life is the water that laps the sand on the shore and back into the sea, it's about trusting that process to make you better.
It's not personal. And so you can't over-personalize when those waves come and recede. You're not entitled. None of us are entitled to a particular outcome. So accepting that unpredictability of life will help us to drop any feelings of entitlement or any urge to personalize when bad things happen or when good things happen.
Right.
Life's difficulties aren't personal insults sent straight to you from the universe or straight to you from God. Unless you think God is this massive chess player in the sky moving all the pieces around.
And if that's something that is in your framework, I would ask you to just examine that and say, okay, how is that serving me in my life? And is that what I want to continue? Or what are other ways, other images of God that I can look to?
Yeah.
Right. We interviewed Fleischman, forgot her first name, Marsha Fleischman, right? And she had that
good interview.
She had that book about the different images of God and how
all the way to imagine
right,
God.
and how that impacts the way that we do life and the way that we see ourselves and everybody else through the images of God that we've created.
Yeah. We'll need to invite Marsha back. She was a wonderful interview.
She was good.
But, the real benefit of embracing the life's unpredictability is, you accept that you can't control everything that happens to you, so you can control what you can,
right?
Which is how you respond, right?
Your ability to respond.
God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change what I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And that will help you learn quickly to refocus on what you can do to move forward and to stay away from that victim thing, that pity party thing that we can so easily fall into, and that's just going to be
if you want a pity party, have it, but limit it.
Yeah.
I had a supervisor who used to have some party hats in the room and say, okay, have your pity party.
You want some cheese with that wine? We're talking today about the art of real grit, talking about habits of naturally gritty people today here on Strategies for Living. We'll be right back.
We all have problems every day. We all need help along the way. We need strategies for living radio.
And welcome back. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillian, David McMillian, talking today about the art of real grit and the habits, if you will, of naturally gritty people. And
we have the acronym in the South, right? Girls raised in the South, GRITS. What if, let's play with grit. What if grit is growth rooted in trust?
Oh, that's true grit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's what we're talking about.
It
right?
is what we're talking about.
It's
yeah.
growth rooted in trust, in self, and in, what is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. I like that. Need to write that down. Remember that. All right, another aspect of people with grit is no blame game. They give up blaming. Gritty people don't seek the blame of anybody else for their bad circumstances. They own up to whatever role they played in creating them. And okay, well, what now? That's the most important question.
Yeah.
Okay, what now? Right. If I made a mistake, I admit it. Now what?
Mm-hmm.
And seek to learn what you can from the experience so that you don't repeat the mistakes if you don't have to. If you need to, apologize, and then figure out what you can do to move forward.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's the old saying, right? Those who blame others are a long way. Those who blame self is halfway there, and the person who blames no one has arrived.
Ah, there you go.
It's an ancient proverb.
Ah, I like it. And we're really talking here a lot of self-compassion that runs through more than one of these. And research is real clear. It shows that when you practice self-compassion alongside accountability,
right,
you are building resilience against any setbacks that may come. And you become more willing to take responsibility as you move forward. And that's a good thing. That's a good responsibility, the ability to respond.
Yeah, and that returns you to agency. That returns you to authorship. That
Yep.
returns you to freedom.
Yep.
Right?
You put the pen back in your hand. Hey, I'm writing this.
That's right.
Yeah. I take the pen back
Right.
up.
I think so many of us have quote unquote issues. I see this a lot of people have issues with authority, right? And I truly think a lot of that roots to authorship, to your own inner authority.
Yeah.
You have issues accepting your own
inner,
authority.
yeah. If you can't accept, in anybody else what you don't accept in yourself.
Right.
Another habit of gritty people is they get in touch with their emotions, but they don't stay there. They don't dwell on them.
Yeah.
You've got to learn not to discount, not to ignore, not to invalidate your own feelings.
Right.
But because you need to feel, feelings are important, but you don't want to stay there. It's not, we don't just have feelings.
Yeah.
We do have our feelings, but we have thinking and we have action, we have behavior. And so we need to use all of it, right? And not get stuck on any one place.
Yeah. And I mean, the science is showing us that true emotions, when we actually lean in and allow ourselves to feel them to their capacity, are only meant to be there for up to 90 seconds. Like, that's the actual length, duration of a true emotion. If you allow yourself, that's the key.
Yeah.
If you allow yourself to feel them and let it run through you. But
the feeling is important so that you can move through them, not get stuck in them.
And it's that question of don't mistake the clouds for the sky.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
To remember that even though we say things like I'm mad or I'm sad or I'm angry, you're putting that I am in front of it, and that could be an issue because you are not the emotion.
No.
Right?
No. But that's what I'm feeling.
Right.
I may be feeling that right now.
I'm experiencing
it right now. But as you say, feelings are like the waves we were talking about earlier. Right. They come in, they go out. They come in, they go out.
And in much like the waves, they're meant to guide us. They're meant to collect us and to bring us to the attention of something else that's asking for our attention.
gritty people see the bigger picture, and they know. We've kind of been talking about this through all of this. Life is a journey, and that's cliche, but it doesn't make it any less true. It is a journey.
Right.
It's full of it's
a process.
It's a process, and it's full of joy and sorrow and all the other stuff too. Happiness and heartache and sadness and anger and embarrassment and fear, and it's there. So we got to deal with all of that.
Yeah.
It's two sides of the coin, right? So if I give you a quarter and you say, "Oh, I just want the head," well, you can't have the quarter. No, if you want the joy and the happiness and the wonder and the beauty, then you also have to deal with the heartache and the sadness and the anger and all the other stuff that comes along with it.
Well, and in our if you're able to the ability that you can recognize that if I didn't experience this level, this depth of fill in the blank sadness, anger, I wouldn't be able to recognize or experience that same level of joy or excitement or wonder.
There you go.
Right? Because if it was all the same, we wouldn't have this depth of comparison and contrast, the two sides of the same coin, in order to appreciate the whole thing, right?
Gritty people have a grateful heart. And this may be tough. I mean, you get a diagnosis from the doctor that you don't want. Depending on the diagnosis, it may be very hard to be grateful for that diagnosis.
Sure. Especially in the moment, right?
Yeah, in the moment. And yet, I mean, anything in life that might come up, what is the meaning of it for you?
What is this trying
what
to...
is this
What is this offering to me? What opportunity is here for me?
Yeah. What is it offering for you to ask of yourself and of life?
If you're of the mindset, ask, what is my soul trying to allow me to experience?
And that leads into, I guess, the last one, which is gritty people. And this may sound, kind of upside down, but gritty people are not embarrassed or afraid to ask for help.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. Because you touched on this earlier, Lauren, we're all part of a whole.
Right.
We are, and to recognize that we are part of that whole. And this is the differentiation of the John Wayne character, right?
Yes,
right?
Big time.
So, we're part of a whole, and so not everybody knows everything, but we've got people out there who kind of can specialize and may be able to help us when we encounter fill in the blank, whatever that is.
Yeah. And that's how we connect.
Yep, there you go. Talking about the art of real grit and the habits of naturally gritty people today here on Strategies for Living. Well, you tuned in and you didn't know you were going to get grits tonight. Had my grits this morning. Had them tonight, too.
We're here in the South, and grits come.
Grits
right?
just come. There you go. You don't order them. They come.
They just come.
We'll be back. Welcome back. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillian over there eating her grits. David McMillian, what's your takeaway from the art of real grit and the habits of naturally gritty people today here on Strategies?
So I think in contrast to the cultural view of grit, right? True grit is not really found in those dramatic moments, right? But it's something that we can cultivate in these daily, even momentary decisions to decide to go in deeper. And it grows through things like self-honesty, right? Awareness, self-compassion, and the willingness to stay engaged that, okay, and curious, right? Instead of saying that, well, this happened to me. Grit's about saying, what can I do with what's happened here?
It's remaining a curious student.
Mm-hmm.
How often do we say that? If I live to be 150, I want to be a curious student right up to the very end.
Yeah. And it's not about becoming tougher. It's about becoming truer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. Lauren, thank you.
Thank you.
Folks, thank you. And you're welcome for the grits.
They just come.
They just come, yeah. We appreciate you being here with us on Strategies for Living, and we appreciate our sponsors making it all possible. The Robinson Film Center and Azalea Cleaners and Pintail Roofing,
Oof, oof.
Learning RX, We Train Your Brain, the Balanced Life Wellness Center, Fertitta's Delicatessen, home of the Godfather, Alligator Italian Sausage, Uprising Addiction Center, and Mira Direct Primary Care. If today were the last day of your life, you only had one more phone call to make, who would you call? And what would you say? And why are you waiting? Make the call. For Lauren Leon McMillian, I'm David McMillian. See you next time right here on Strategies for Living.